Hi, and welcome to Old School Blues Guitar. It is time for the Signature Licks lesson for the months of January through March 2020. We're going to take a look at 15 different cool licks and ideas from the playing of Freddie King. Before we get started, make sure you understand that Freddie King played with a thumb pick and a finger pick on his first finger. Basically, finger pick the guitar. We're going to use a flat pick for this lesson. And you can play any of these licks using the thumb and finger pick. If you watch some of the old videos of Freddie King playing, then on shows like The Beat, you see that he does most of his picking with his first finger, and then he uses the thumb when he needs to play a double stop or sometimes when he just needs to play on the bass strings. So let's get started. We're in standard tuning, and our first lick is what I call a descending lick, a descending single string lick, and this is an idea that Freddie used all the time. We're going to play our first lick in the key of B flat. This is not from any particular song. This is just a lick that he did all the time. It goes like this. One more time. So we're playing in B flat, and I'm starting the lick. He starts this and plays this a variety of different ways. This particular example, I'm starting on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. And then this little lick, that's the key right there. I'm starting on the 6th fret, actually on the 9th fret of the 1st string, to the 6th fret, to the 8th fret, and then to the 8th fret of the 2nd string. I'll let you check the tab rather than go through every note. This one's pretty simple to figure out. Now he could play the same lick in different ways. Sometimes he'd play it kind of a lazy way like this, or he might play it faster, something like that. So when you listen to Freddie King's playing, especially his instrumentals, that lick is in there a lot in one form or another. So when you're playing a blues solo or even a fill, pretty much in any key where you can play in the first blues box, you can use that lick. So that is my first Freddie King lick. Our second example comes from a tune called CC Baby. And one of the things I really like about Freddie King's playing is how he does the bends in a variety of places. He bends all over the place. But one of his maybe overlooked bends is when he bends, let's say he's in the key of B flat, like the song CC Baby, and he does a lot of bends on the 9th string, a ton on the 3rd string, and then he does some on the 9th fret of the 2nd string. What about the 8th fret? And in CC Baby he plays a lick that goes like this, and this is an example of what I'm talking about. And I don't know if I played that exactly right, but the idea of bending on the 8th fret of the 1st string when we're in the key of B flat, that is something that Freddie King did a lot. So this particular example, I climbed into it, check the tab for that, and then I'm bending on the 8th fret. I'm using 3 fingers, bending up on the 8th fret, and then I'm bending again, and then I'm going into this little lick. Check the tab for that. So one more time. Something like that. So you can play around a lot on that, in that position in the blues box, the 8th fret instead of the 9th fret. Now he does a lot of this, but bending there is something which, in my listening, Freddie King does more than anybody else. So that is lick number 2. That's from a tune called CC Baby in the key of B flat. For lick number 3, we're going to stay in the key of B flat, and this is one of my all-time favorite Freddie King ideas. The way he starts a phrase in the first blues box and then descends into the bass strings and then comes back out of it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm not musically trained, so I can't explain it in musical terms. Let me show you what he does. This is from one of his most famous tunes called Lover with a Feeling. And he does something like this. Which I really love. And here we are in the first position blues box in B flat. We're starting out with that little sequence. So I'm going from the 9th fret of the 2nd string to the 6th. Then on the 3rd string, I'm going 9, 8, 6, which is really cool. And then 8, 6 on the 4th string. And here's where we are going to go down into the bass. We're going to go cool descending thing, going 8, 7, 6 on the 5th string. And then I think I hear a slide to the 4th fret. And then coming back to the 6th fret of the 6th string. So the whole little sequence. Then we climb back up. So from here, and there's a slide from the 6th to the 8th fret on the 5th string. And I think I stopped the tab right there, because from here, you can do all kinds of stuff. But listen to, I think it's a solo in Freddie King's Lover with a Feeling, and he goes into this riff. So he does this a lot, where he's playing. And he goes to the bass notes and it climbs back out of it all in the same sequence. So again, let's play that slowly. Really neat stuff. And so instead of just playing on the treble strings, this takes us into this little bass scale, which Freddie King would use a lot in his different instrumentals, and even every now and then on a solo. So that is idea number, which one is that? That is number 3. Lick number 4 comes from another one of Freddie King's famous tunes, Have You Ever Loved a Woman? And this is in an odd key. It's in C sharp. And here's another example of him climbing from the bass strings into the treble strings. This is during the solo. And this is another one of my personal favorite Freddie King licks. And again, it's all in the 1st position blues box. And he does this. Let me play it again. Really cool. So I'm starting out on the 11th fret of the 5th string. Check out the tab for this, rather than have me try to go through and say note for note. It's basically all between the 11th and the 9th frets. That part. Really neat. And then this part, typical Freddie King. I'm going 9th fret, 10th fret on the 3rd string to the 9th fret of the 2nd string. And then we're using that same descending lick idea, just cutting it off a little quick, that we learned in the first lesson, the first lick. So we got the whole thing one more time slowly. So when you're playing a solo, it builds tension. It's, you know, when you build into your licks. And a good way to do that is to start from the bass strings, or go from the treble strings to the bass and then back to the treble. That's one of the ideas that I think I picked up from Freddie King more than any other. I really like doing that. It's fun. It goes like this. Slowly. That is lick number 4. Lick number 5 comes from a Freddie King tune called It's Too Bad. I can't remember the whole title. It's got like a long title. I can't remember it. It's in the key of C. It's Too Bad. I'll put this on the video. And this example here shows how Freddie King would climb from the 1st blues box into the 2nd blues box and then back to the 1st. Again, a lot of guys that play blues, they just stick in one position. And that's one of the things that makes Freddie King's playing so special, is the way he moves around and gets different sounds and climbs from the bass to the treble and the 2nd blues box, high notes, back to the 1st blues box, all kinds of movement going on. This is from a song, again, called It's Too Bad. And he plays something like this. I tried to play a little slower, I think, than what he plays it, or maybe I played it faster. Let's do that one more time. got this tabbed out and listen to the original to get the feel, the correct feel for what he does. So I'm starting out with one of these typical Freddie King. I think I missed that note when I played it the first time, so it should go like this. So what I'm doing here is climbing from the 8th fret of the 3rd string, 9th, 8, 10 on the 2nd string. Then I get the 8th fret of the 1st string before sliding into the 13th fret of the 2nd string and letting it hang. And then play something like this. He's going to bend, the 3-fingered bend. This is in the 2nd blues box. The main bending is with my ring finger on the 13th fret of the 1st string. Something like that. Really cool. And he lets that 13th fret of the 2nd string ring out with some vibrato. So let me try to play that again. That's closer. And then he goes back to the 1st and he plays this lick, which is another very typical Freddie King lick. I'm not sure exactly how he played that. If he just started with a hammer on the 8th fret of the 3rd string, or if he slid into it. When I listen to it, I think I hear him just playing something like that. You can mix up the way you pick it. You can pick each note, or you can hammer on and then, you know, pick the other notes. But what I'm doing here is winding up on the 7th note at the 11th fret of the 2nd string. So we might play this as a fill lick. Really cool sequence. So he's going again from the 1st blues box to the 2nd blues box, back to the 1st blues box. Really cool. And the key for me for playing the Freddie King stuff halfway decently is letting those notes ring out, not being in such a hurry to, to start picking. Just let it go. Let it sing. Like that. That's what I like the most about Freddie King's playing. So that is lick example number 5. Lick number 6 is from a tune called Lonesome Whistle Blues, and this is in the key of B flat. Actually, it's in the key of C. And this is a typical Freddie King lick in the 2nd blues box. Goes something like this. This one's pretty simple. And this climb, Freddie King did that a lot when he's playing in the 2nd blues box and did lots of variations on that. My 2nd blues box position, if I'm in C, is mostly between the 11th and the 13th frets. I'm starting the lick on the 13th fret of the 2nd string, and that chromatic lick is going from the 11th to the 12th to the 13th. Like that. And then I'm going to hammer on from the 11th to the 12th on the 1st string. Whoops. And wind up with that singing note on the 13th fret of the 2nd string. So the whole lick goes like that. One more time. Very fun to play. So when you're doing a solo or even as a fill, you can go to the high notes, play some bends. He did that sometimes where he'd play that lick and then slide out on the 1st string, sliding down. And he did that in different ways when he's playing in the 2nd blues box. That's just another Freddie King idea to toss in there. So that is lick number 6, and that is from a tune called Lonesome Whistle Blues. Lick number 7 is another really cool Freddie King lick. He doesn't do this a lot, but he does this on a tune called Taking Care of Business in the key of D, which is one of my all-time favorite Freddie King licks. And there's some variations on this that you'll hear in other Freddie King songs. It's just a 3-note lick, and it goes like this. And What I'm doing here is I'm playing in the second blues box in D. I'm going from the 15th to the 13th fret on the second string to the 14th fret of the third string. And you can vary the way you play that. So I could play it, or I think that's more what Freddie King does. Really simple idea, but he does this, I think, in the solo for that tune. A variation on that, I'll stay in the key of D. And this comes from, I can't remember, I think it might be from Remington Ride, which is another instrumental in the key of D. And he does something similar, but he adds a fourth note. He does something like this. This time we're playing over the first position blues box. And what I'm doing here, rather sloppily, is I'm going from the 12th to the 10th fret on the third string to the 12th fret on the fourth string, and then going to the 13th fret of the third string, and repeating that figure. Check the tab. So those little kinds of legs, that is something that you hear Freddie King do. I've got two examples of that tabbed out for you. Listen to the tune, Taking Care of Business, and that's where you hear that kind of lick, the three-note thing.